There comes a moment in life when holding on feels heavier than letting go. We cling to people, memories, and dreams long after they have served their purpose, believing that control is safety. But the Stoics remind us that freedom begins where attachment ends. To let go is not to lose, it is to accept the natural flow of life, to surrender to what we cannot change. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free, and bravery lies in opening our hands, not closing them." The art of letting go is not about indifference, but about trust in the order of the universe. When you release your grip, you discover that what remains is enough. Perhaps in that stillness, freedom quietly returns. Letting go of control is one of the hardest lessons we face. We want things to happen our way, at our time, under our design. Yet, life laughs gently at our plans. The Stoic path asks us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Our thoughts, our actions, our choices, these are ours. But outcomes, reactions, and the passage of time belong to nature. The moment we stop fighting the tide, we begin to float instead of drown. Control, it turns out, is an illusion that keeps us trapped. True mastery is learning to flow with the current, not against it. When we hold on to resentment, we imprison ourselves in the past. The Stoics taught that anger and bitterness are chains we forge with our own hands. Forgiveness is not a gift to the one who hurt us. It is a release for our own soul. To let go of anger is to return to peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that others act out of ignorance, not malice. When we see this truth, compassion replaces judgment. Freedom is not found in revenge but in understanding. The lighter your heart, the freer your spirit becomes. Letting go also means releasing our attachment to outcomes. We often believe happiness lies in achieving what we desire. But Stoicism flips this idea on its head. The wise person learns to desire only what happens. Every event, whether joyful or painful, carries within it the wisdom of fate. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do." When we align our will with reality, life no longer feels like a battle. Peace comes not from victory, but from surrender to the way things are. Many of us carry old versions of ourselves, unwilling to let them fade. We cling to who we once were, the ambitions, the titles, the identities that once defined us. But the Stoic way invites us to shed these layers and meet ourselves anew each day. You are not the same person you were yesterday, nor will you be tomorrow. Growth demands change, and change demands release. When we stop resisting who we are becoming, we step into a deeper kind of peace. Letting go of your past self is not loss, it is transformation. To let go of fear is to open the door to life itself. Fear is born from attachment to comfort, to certainty, to the illusion of permanence. The Stoics faced fear by looking it in the eye and seeing it for what it truly was, a distortion of thought. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When we stop running from fear, it loses its power over us. Courage, then, is not the absence of fear, but the quiet decision to keep walking despite it. The path of letting go begins where fear ends. Grief, too, is a form of love we must learn to release. The Stoics never denied sorrow. They simply sought to understand it. When someone we love passes, we grieve not only their absence, but also the part of ourselves that belonged to them. Yet, as Epictetus taught, all things are on loan from the universe. To love fully is to know that every embrace is temporary. Letting go does not mean forgetting, it means carrying their memory with gratitude, not despair. Love, when freed from possession, becomes eternal. Letting go of possessions reveals how little we truly need. We are surrounded by things that promise happiness but deliver only clutter. The Stoics lived simply, not out of deprivation, but out of liberation. Each object we release lightens our spirit. The less we own, the less we fear losing. Happiness is not found in abundance, but in sufficiency. As Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. When we stop chasing, we begin to live. The need for approval is another weight we must put down. We shape ourselves to please others, to fit their expectations, to win their affection. But the Stoic seeks inner harmony, not outer validation. What others think lies beyond our control, and therefore beyond our concern. True freedom is living by your own principles, even when misunderstood. When you no longer crave applause, you can finally hear your own voice. Letting go of others' opinions is the beginning of self-respect. We often resist time, clinging to moments that have already passed or worrying about those yet to come. But time flows like a river, indifferent to our wishes. The Stoic learns to live in the present, where life actually happens. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow uncertain, only this moment is real. Letting go of the past means forgiving it. Letting go of the future means trusting it. When we live fully in the now, we discover that peace has been here all along, waiting quietly beneath our distractions. Letting go of perfection allows us to finally rest. We strive endlessly to be flawless, to meet standards that no human can sustain. The Stoics remind us that virtue is an effort, not an outcome. Imperfection is not failure, it is humanity. When we accept our flaws with gentleness, we learn to treat others with the same compassion. Freedom is not in being perfect, but in being whole. To be at peace with yourself is the highest form of success. There's also the letting go of regret, which binds us to what cannot be changed. We replay mistakes, wishing we had acted differently. But Stoicism teaches that regret is only useful if it guides future virtue. Once the lesson is learned, we must release the guilt. The past no longer exists. Only our present choices carry weight. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." B1. Letting go of regret is the first step toward redemption. Letting go of expectations transforms relationships. We often burden others with our ideals, loving them not as they are, but as we wish them to be. The Stoics remind us that every person acts according to their nature, not ours. When we stop trying to control or change others, we create space for genuine connection. Love becomes lighter, freer, more enduring. To let go of expectations is to love without chains, and that is the only love worth having. Sometimes we must let go of the need to understand everything. Life's mysteries are vast, and our minds small. The Stoic accepts uncertainty as a natural part of existence. We do not need all the answers to live well. Peace comes from trusting the order of things, even when unseen. When we surrender to the unknown, we find serenity in the flow of what is. Understanding may bring comfort, but acceptance brings peace. Letting go of envy frees us from the poison of comparison. We look at others' lives and measure our worth against their fortunes, forgetting that fate weaves a different path for everyone. The Stoics teach that envy is blindness. It prevents us from seeing our own blessings. When we celebrate others without resentment, we reclaim our joy. Gratitude replaces greed, and contentment returns. The only life we need to perfect is our own. Even our dreams, beautiful as they are, sometimes must be released. Not all seeds we plant will bloom, and not all journeys lead where we expect. The Stoic learns to adjust the sail when the wind changes. Letting go of one vision makes space for another to emerge. Failure is not the end, but a redirection toward what truly matters. Every closed door is a lesson in trust. When we release our plans, we make room for providence. To let go of noise is to rediscover silence. The modern world shouts endlessly for our attention, filling every quiet space with distraction. The Stoic finds freedom and stillness in the pause between thoughts, the breath between moments. Silence is not emptiness but clarity. When we learn to be alone with ourselves, we discover we were never truly lonely. Peace is not something we must find. It is something we uncover when the noise fades away. Letting go of resentment toward life itself may be the greatest liberation of all. We often feel that life owes us something: a smoother road, a kinder fate. But the Stoics saw life as a teacher, not an enemy. Every hardship carries wisdom, every obstacle an invitation to grow. When we stop demanding ease, we begin to appreciate strength. The world does not conspire against us. It simply unfolds as it must. Acceptance is the key that opens the heart. In the end, letting go is not about losing what we love, it is about loving more deeply, without possession or fear. For when we release everything we once clung to, we finally discover is also the art of letting go of urgency. We rush endlessly, afraid of wasting time, yet in our hurry, we waste the present. The Stoic pace is slow, deliberate, grounded in awareness. When we stop racing toward the future, we begin to live deeply in the now. Letting go of haste allows us to see life as it is, not as a finish line, but as a path to be walked with grace. The slower we move, the clearer everything becomes. And finally, letting go of the self, our ego. Our need to be someone is the ultimate act of freedom. The Stoics believed we are part of a greater whole, a spark of the divine reason that governs all. When we stop centering everything around me, we merge peacefully with the flow of existence. There's nothing to defend, nothing to prove, nothing to fear. In losing ourselves, we find unity with all things. And in that quiet dissolution, the deepest freedom awaits.